Thank you for doing this.
Bruh, when I was watching your interviews earlier, I was like, how are people getting emotional? What you put in my coffee, cuz? People don't know that I was kind of raised in a strip club.
Okay, what do you mean?
Cause I was always in the strip club promoting my music.
What do you think Sean Kingston and his label were thinking when they turned down What You Say in Replay?
That might be some of the biggest screw-ups in the history of music.
You said still today, at least 9 out of 10 times, you'll choose work first.
Work is a faithful bitch. You can't use it. My work is not gonna break up with me.
Why say this is the last album?
I feel like I'm the best version of myself as a performer, as a songwriter today. And I don't wanna leave not being the best version of me.
I have to start with you and punctuality.
Oh, shit.
What's the deal? What's the deal?
It's always been a thing. It's always been a thing.
Okay, explain that.
I always think I'm gonna be on time. So I always think like I have more time than I do. And I try to fit every single thing in the smallest pocket of time. So for instance, last night, I knew that I had to wake up really early. And
what's really early?
Really early, I knew I had to get up at around like 7:30.
And you go to bed when?
But I didn't get to bed till like 8 a.m. I was supposed to get up at 7:30, but I went to bed at 8 a.m. But it was because I was trying to fit everything in last night. So I had a song that I wrote that I was really excited about that I wanted to get off my chest. Then I had a meeting that took, about 2-3 hours. And then I packed my son's lunch myself last night, and then I went to bed. And it ended up being 8 in the morning. I thought all of that would take, 3 hours max. No, it took all night. But that's just me, right? Like I'm just always trying to cram a million things into like a little pocket of time. It's just not enough time in a day.
Does that create stress for you? Like when you're running behind?
I'm not really a stressful guy. I don't let anything bother me. So no, it doesn't stress me. I just wish that I was better with time. And I think I would be better if I was married or something. I feel like I would be better with time.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
Because I know I would choose a girl that was punctual and somebody that could help me align my life. Because that's who I see myself with, right? Somebody that can be my partner, right? My life partner. And I think where I lack, that person needs to be, an expert at, right? So that's what I see a perfect marriage being, like a perfect partnership where I don't have my shit together, you have it all together.
All right, so I want to take you way back to family and growing up, and you were just starting to talk about life partner. A lot of people find connectivity between life partner and qualities maybe their mom had. Your mom was one of 15, growing up in Haiti.
Yeah.
What she told you about what that period was like for her?
My mom always talks about how her siblings basically raised her. They all grew up in a very, very small house. So I grew up in a small house myself, but it was just 3 of us. So she said the house was even smaller than that. I'm just thinking to myself, like, how is that even possible? And how did y'all get places? You know, like when y'all was
Right.
she said, yeah, we were just all on top of each other, like in the car, like all. Just thinking about what that lifestyle must have been like. It's just very different. I feel like it was incredible in a lot of ways, right? Because they got to be so close to each other. They got to spend real time with each other, real face value time, and also it's tough. Like how the hell was y'all figuring out who was going to use the bathroom or who was going to get ready first? Like what were the mornings like?
Right.
You know?
How did she make it here?
So my eldest uncle made it to America first. And he basically sent for each sibling one at a time. So he worked 2 jobs and made enough money to bring one sibling in at a time. And as each sibling came in, they were able to get a job and so on and so forth until everybody came over. And then they moved to New York first. And then from New York, they migrated to Miami.
And so you were born in Florida, but then around 1, you end up moving back to Haiti. Because I think you had a wealthy grandfather there. 3, you moved back to the States, 3-ish, I guess. But the kind of grandfather's money was only a thing if you were staying there in Haiti. Otherwise, he wasn't helping you guys out.
And then he was a gambler too.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, so it started off one way and then ended off another.
How so?
The casino always wins, man. The casino always wins. He was the ambassador of Haiti to Jamaica. A really smart, wealthy attorney just had his vice, you know? It started off one way, as you can imagine, and ended off another.
Do you think you guys would have ended up staying there had it not been for that?
In Haiti?
Uh-huh.
I doubt it. I think even with the money, I feel like the opportunities that my parents were dreaming of were not in Haiti. You know, they were dreaming of a different kind of life, you know, and to accomplish those things, they needed to go to college and they needed to learn English and needed to because my mom wanted to be an attorney. My dad's dad wanted him to be an engineer, but my dad had other plans.
Import, export.
Yeah, yeah. So their dreams led them, to come to America.
It was funny. I was reading some of your early interviews when you first kind of became famous, and you were talking about how you kind of had a middle class upbringing, and then your more recent interviews, you talked about how you grew up poor. And I was talking to your brother yesterday, Joey, and I brought that up to him. He's like, honestly, I don't think Jason remembered back when we were actually poor because he was so young.
I don't think I resonated with it being a poor situation.
How so?
I feel like my mom did a really good job of hiding it, you know? Like I didn't really feel like I had less then, you know? But thinking back, me and my brother had situations where we created sleep juice. And it basically was just water and sugar. And that's when we were so hungry that we couldn't fall asleep, that would help us fall asleep. But there was a large portion of my life where I was middle class. So it was, when I was in high school, like everything was all good. Earlier in my life is when the struggle was there.
And there were times where there was no heat, no water, no electricity?
Yeah. The heat situation, I mean, we lived in Miami, so we didn't really need no heat. But the fans were a norm. Like we had like fans like the ones that, go like this. Like the fans was like, that was the first auto tune.
You remember what the bus schedule was?
The bus schedule? Oh, crazy. I would have to get up 5 in the morning, 4:30 sometimes to make it to the bus and then travel literally hours to get to school because we lived in Miramar, and then we had to travel all the way to Fort Lauderdale. So it was just like the majority of my life from elementary school to high school, I was always traveling all the way to Fort Lauderdale because that's where all the performing arts schools were. So yeah, it was pretty brutal.
And when do you get home at night?
When I wasn't playing basketball, I would get home around 6:30. When I started playing basketball, I wasn't getting home till like 8:30, 9 sometimes. That's when I had to make a decision. I was either gonna do music or I was gonna play basketball, because when I was playing basketball, to find time to go to the studio was impossible.
And then you were still, correct me if I'm wrong, an honors student, or in all honors classes.
I don't know either. I mean, I cheated on a couple papers, but
Oh yeah.
but honestly, I was a good tester though. If I'm being honest, I loved watching educational things on TV, so that I felt like that kind of put me ahead of the curve, because that was always my go-to. I was always I loved to learn, but in school, it was, I don't know, it was not. I didn't love it. I didn't love it in school. It was not really my thing. And that's what's hard for me as a parent today, because I don't really love school for my son either.
How do you figure that one out?
How do I figure it out? I don't know. But what I feel like the issue is school kind of prepares you to be a average thinker. And it kind of puts you in a box, and you have to everything is very formulaic, and you have to raise your hand when you want to speak, and it's not really a place for a creative thinker. And that's what bothers me about it. And I wish there were schools that taught differently, and that allowed people to be more individual. But I just don't feel like that's how it is right now. So that's my issue with school. But his mom feels differently. So that's a whole...
That's a fun one to figure out.
That's a whole different thing.
You guys only spoke French growing up, right?
Yeah, my brother's a little older than me.
Okay.
So he had a little bit more of that than I did. But yes, when I was a baby, when I was a toddler, I only spoke French.
But you only remember the Creole?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that was what you guys kind of
spoke in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, more lax. So Creole was just lax speak, and then when you wanted to be formal, that's when we spoke the French.
How about the development the family lived in back then, and how much family lived around there?
Incredible, man. So that's one thing that I feel like we were really rich in, was family. And I think the fact that we didn't have very much allowed us to be closer together. Whereas I feel like as my life is now, I feel like we've grown apart more.
What?
I'm in this big ass house in Los Angeles. My family, they're all in really nice houses in Miami. When we didn't have, we were all in, bruh. When I was watching your interviews earlier.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was like, how are people getting emotional? But what the I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna be like that. What the what you put in my coffee, cuz? Anyway. Me? This never happened to me before. Anyway, so I live in this big ass house in Los Angeles. And the way that I built my house, I'm like, damn, I kind of f***ed up, because I created a space for my son that's like away from the living room. And it seems like a very small thing, but the shit, it f***s with me, because like the nanny will like take him to his area because he loves his area because there's like all sorts of toys and stuff. But if I had a small house, that wouldn't be an issue. Like it wouldn't be a second thought because like we would always just be close. So I talk about that I'm thinking about that with my son, but I'm also thinking about that with my family as well, because I've created a life that kind of created the space. Not just for me in my life, but I feel like I've created space within the entire family because we have more. So in one instance, I feel like we have more, but in another instance, I feel like we have less.
So what do you think the solution is to that?
I don't know that there is a solution. I don't think the solution is to go back to the hood. I don't think that's the solution.
But from a family perspective, you felt it was kind of better then?
I think it was much better then. Like every birthday we seen each other, every birthday was spent together.
You were
like
the birthday singer.
Yeah, I was the birthday singer. Like every Christmas was together, but now everything is apart. Every family is having their own Christmas. Every family is having their own birthday parties. It's a very, very different lifestyle, and I feel like the family has, in a sense, grown apart. Even though there's not necessarily any conflict or any problems, it's just the lifestyle that has been built.
Although it probably, to your credit, goes both ways too, because of your success, you have the opportunity to be more present in your child's life. Your brother Joey was telling me how, because your mom and dad were trying to support you, the net reality of that was they weren't always around. Your dad was doing the import-export thing. Your mom at one point got a good job at FEMA that took her away for a while, and your brother said that was kind of traumatic. What do you remember from that?
Yeah, I feel like I can relate better to my dad as an adult than I did when I was a kid.
What?
Because when I was a kid, I didn't understand like why he was always gone. Like it didn't make any sense to me. Like why would he want to be away? Like I'm here, why is he there? You know what I'm saying? But as an adult male, as an adult that has to provide for the family, like I understand now because that's my life sometimes as well, right? A lot of the times I'm saying sometimes. But trying to build stability and build longevity and wealth for not just him, but for generations to come is not an easy feat, right? And it takes time, it takes energy, and sometimes it takes you away from the family. And since I live the lifestyle that I do now, I can relate to my dad so much more, and I understand where he was coming from because he had a dream, he had a path that he saw in his mind, that he saw in his head, and then I didn't understand it, but now I do.
You remember what you were thinking as a kid?
100%, yeah.
Which was
yeah,
what?
It was just like why would he want to be away? Like is it that he doesn't like us, or that he doesn't want to be here? Does he have another family? But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of kids that probably later in life understand their parents more when you get older.
And your parents got divorced and then got back together?
Crazy ever,
How did that work?
I never heard that before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know exactly what the issue was completely. I know that my father being gone was always a strain that their marriage had.
How so?
Because my mom wanted him to just be home. In his mind, he was always just one move away from big success, from a big check. And that move never came, and he got older and older and older, and he still worked. So it put a strain on the relationship because not only was he gone, but he wasn't really bringing in the kinds of funds that he knew that it was possible, Life is tough, man. Life is tough because as a man, like me putting myself in his shoes, if I had a dream and I believed something to be true, and I felt like I was just like, that one little thing just needed to just, go the right way this time, and then everything would change. And that never came. Like, that would eat me alive, So I think it probably was really stressful for him. It was obviously really stressful for her because, there was just so much, on her. She was, trying to go to law school, work a couple of jobs at the same time, and then she has 3 kids, So time just did its damage. And they finally got a divorce. And years passed, and then they noticed that they were better together.
So I think you're 4 years old, you're watching TV, you see Michael Jackson. I think he's in Romania at the time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you remember that?
I don't know. I don't know. Yes, maybe it's because it's one of my fondest memories. I was hooked. The first time I saw the guy, I just wanted to watch over and over and over and over again, and it became an obsession. Put on my white socks, do the moonwalk in the kitchen, and then I would watch the television and try to mimic every move and like rewind it and do it again, and rewind it and do it again over and over.
How do you think he influenced you?
At first, it was an obsession of trying to be him, right? And that obsession later became an influence because I needed my own identity. I needed to figure out like who I was. And I think what helped that come to fruition was when I started to write songs. I started writing songs when I was 8 years old. And when I started to write songs is when I felt like I had my own voice, so to speak. And I had to figure out how to make myself shine, in a different way. So then that's when it became an influence and not an obsession. I feel like it was like around that time. Because before then it was just like copy,
Mm-hmm.
copy. That's not necessarily how an artist is made. I think the specific thing that makes an artist is individuality. And I became an individual by being exposed to a lot of different things. Going to school for performing arts, I studied classical music my whole life. I studied jazz music significantly. I read music.
Hey, Missouri, big news. DraftKings Sportsbook is officially live right here in our state, and you can finally get in on the action. And to celebrate, we're partnering with DraftKings Sportsbook to roll out an amazing offer. When you sign up with promo code Bensinger, you'll get $300 in bonus bets after you place your first $5 wager. That's it. Bet $5 and DraftKings drops $300 in bonus bets straight into your account. Doesn't get much easier than that. Just enter Bensinger during sign-up and you're good to go. Once those bonus bets hit, you can use them on all kinds of action. DraftKings same-game parlays, player props, live betting, and a whole lot more. So whether you're backing your favorite teams or your favorite players, there's no shortage of ways to play. So what are you waiting for? You can now wager from the comfort of your own home all season long. And if you're new to DraftKings, don't miss out. Jump in now, grab those bonus bets, and start exploring everything the app has to offer.
So you're 16, 17 years old, getting dressed up and going to the club in Miami. What are you doing there?
Oh man, we fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. So my brother, my cousins, they would max out their credit cards, we were trying to look like we were something that we weren't,
And so that looks like what?
So telemarketing jobs, working at the airport, these were their jobs. I didn't have no job. I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I had no money, and they had a little money, but they had credit cards. So it was fake money that they had to pay back at some point. But when we would go to the club, they would patch up. We call it a patch up, and basically they would spend the money that they had to buy a bottle, and I would have on like, you know, the fake jewelry, and then we would go to the DJ booth and like give them a CD and be like, you play this, you know, I'm Jason Derulo, you know, hometown, home team, you know, play my record, you know. Let's see how the crowd reacts. So we wanted to look like we had something, so that when people looked, it was like, oh yeah, who's that guy over there? Okay, look. I felt like we did a pretty good job. I wish I could see myself now then to see if we really accomplished it, because I can't tell if we did good or if we were just wasting money. I can't tell you to this day. Like, did we actually accomplish, you know, looking like we had money?
But I understand at 16, 17 years old, it worked out better for you in the strip clubs.
Oh, it was lit. My teen years were top tier. Top tier. Miami is the strip club capital of the world. And people don't know that. I was kind of raised in a strip club.
Okay, what do you mean?
Because I was always in the strip club promoting my music. So like, that was the easiest place to get my songs played. It's harder to get your songs played in an actual club, but the strip club DJs were like a little more forgiving, a little more like for home team, you know? Mm-hmm. And the actual club DJs were a little more bougie, you know?
So how would it typically work when you go in the strip club? Yeah.
Oh, the strip club, man, you know, same thing. You gotta do a little something. You gotta make it look like you have money. So, you know, say we had $100 between the four of us. So it was four of us. It's me, my brother, and my twin cousins, Harry and Henry. So if we have $100, we know that we don't really have a long time to be there, because while you're there, you have to make an impact. If you have $50, you gotta be there even shorter. If you got $30, you in and out. You make it rain, slide. And you only spend money when the song is playing. The key is to, like, when the girls see you, when the dancers see you, they gotta be like, oh, that's so-and-so. Whenever he come, you know, it's lit, right? So you just gotta time. That's the thing. If you time it out right, you can always look like you have a lot.
Do you think they knew how old you were then?
Nah, for sure not.
Okay, so you go to theater school, and you've called that like the hardest time in your life. Why?
I think it taught me a lot, man. Shakespeare is hard. Doing ballet is hard. Wearing a dance belt is hard. Staying up till 3 a.m. and then waking up at 6 a.m. is hard.
And why were you doing that?
It was all or nothing. I feel like this is the first time in my life where I'm like actually getting sleep. Even though I ain't really sleep last night. But like, usually, like, this is the first time in my life, like in my 30s, is where I'm like, I need to prioritize sleep or else I'm gonna die. Like, the statistics show it.
Well, that's funny, because as I was preparing for you, that was the one disconnect, because you're so attentive to detail when it comes to diet and exercise. But then you like, I get 2 hours of sleep, and I mean, that's the thing that'll kill you.
No, the sleep deprivation is the worst thing for you, apparently.
Like, predisposes you to all these health challenges.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. This was like a new thing that I learned later in life. And had I known that, I'm glad I didn't know, though, because I think I would be a totally different person today. I squeezed out every ounce of every day, more so than anybody. Like, it's not even close. Like, nobody squeezed the juice out of a day like I did. All of those things were difficult, but then you put it all together and it became a really tough time, especially because I wasn't really able to like eat real meals a lot of the time.
What?
I didn't have any money. I was eating 4 bananas a day because they were a quarter each.
Oh, and you were
Constipated.
reasonably constipated.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Learned that later in life too. I was like, damn, why I didn't know I had a problem, but it's the bananas. You can't eat that much potassium. Back you up. But nah, so the bananas, the salmon smoothies that you talked about earlier, it was perfect for me because those little cans of salmon, it was not like good salmon, by the way. It was not like a strip of salmon that it was the canned salmon that has bones in it. So you put it was worse, it's worse than you think it was. Because if it was actually a strip of cooked salmon, probably wouldn't be as bad, but it's the salmon in the tuna can, you know the canned joints? Mm-hmm. It has bones in them, so you try to take all the bones out, but they're so small and so brittle, the bones break up in there. So, but it was super cheap, and you put Tabasco sauce in there, and it was kind of like a little, like Bloody Mary vibe.
You would have to learn a song one day,
Yep.
and then do it by memory in front of class the next day.
Yeah.
What do you feel like that taught you?
That I'm not good at remembering. That's the reason why I started writing songs in the first place, because I couldn't remember nobody else's. So I started to freestyle. So if I wanted to sing, I had to sing something, right? So I had to like just go off top of my head and just like start singing anything. And that's kind of what like gave me a knack for melody. And then at 8 was when I decided to write my first entire song.
And melody you have referred to as one of your greatest strengths, I think. What is it about that?
Honestly, it's really just about me having done it way more than other people and me giving way more options than the normal person would. So, for instance, when I'm writing a song, I'll freestyle a verse around 12 to 15 times. Same thing for a pre-hook, 12 to 15 times. Same thing for a hook, 12 to 15 times. So I have possibly 15 options for a hook, 15 options for a pre-hook, and then 15 options for a verse. Most people are just writing whatever they think is good at that particular time. No, I have 15 options.
And why do you do it that way?
Because the average person is gonna write one verse. I'm essentially writing 15 verses against your one verse. How are you gonna compete against my verse? And not only am I doing that, but I'm also writing 3 songs. So that's really 45 verses that I wrote in a day and you wrote one. So it's kind of hard to compete. It's when you reach to a certain point of songwriting, it becomes a numbers game, right? And I write so many songs that the standout songs eventually come, you know, they just happen because you've written so many. But that only happens when you reach to a certain level of songwriting.
And do you know when the standout songs come, or do you sometimes you have no idea what's going to hit?
I mean, you take a strong guess, you know. I like to do little testings, right? And the best thing that you could possibly do is play people several songs, because nobody's going to tell you your sucks, even if it sucks. So what I learned to do was to give people options, and that way you can figure out what your best material is, as opposed to saying, hey, do you like this song? And they'd be like, yeah, I like it. And then they don't actually like it. But if I play you 3 songs, you can easily be honest about which one you like the best. You know what I'm saying? So that's the model that I've always kind of taken when it comes to choosing songs.
You used the word shine a little bit earlier in the conversation, and I understand when you were writing for other people, you would try to cater to that person so the person shines as who they are. What does that mean, and can you give examples of it?
Writing songs for other people is basically speaking in another person's voice. But it doesn't always happen like that. So a song called Me Too for Meghan Trainor, in writing that song with some great friends of mine, I was really thinking about myself, you know? I was like talking about standing on couches and like being really cocky and like loving myself. But when I listened to it back, I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if people really want to hear me bragging about myself. Like it seems kind of off. But coming from a female perspective, it was magical. It was like a whole different thing. And for Meghan Trainor, that song became a #1 hit, you know, a song called Me Too. But like in my voice, like I loved the melody. I thought sonically it was great, but I was like, I don't think people really want to hear me like talk about myself like this. But from a female perspective, it feels like woman empowerment. It feels like, you know, it has like a totally different feel. So sometimes it happens like that where like I'm trying to do something that just doesn't work for me that possibly could work for somebody else.
And will it quickly hit you in those moments?
No, I mean, we had that song for months before Megan just heard it by chance one day. And she was like, I love this shit. Like, I didn't go away and was like, this will be better for a girl. No, I didn't even think of it. It was not until they called me and like, Meghan Trainor, and I was like, really? That doesn't make any sense. But then I heard her on it and I was like, duh. Like, obviously, like it makes so much more sense.
And so you were a ghostwriter, I think, for 3 years before you became an artist. Mm-hmm. What did that entail?
Man, that's just, it started pretty crazy.
Kind of by accident, right?
By accident. I got my first placement with Birdman for a song called Bossy, and then that led me to doing some writing for Lil Wayne, which was cool. And then,
which is insane to have that immediately.
Yeah, I think I was 16 years old. I was really young, but they always work in Miami. So, you know, you had it was only slim pickings. When you're talking about working with big people in Miami, I mean, you had Timbaland that always worked in Miami. You had Cash Money that always worked in Miami. P. Diddy in Miami. And that was pretty much it. Oh, and Pitbull and Flo Rida. That was the whole sector of Miami. So you had to find a way to make it to one of those guys. And through some friends, I was able to get a session with Cassie, with a producer named Seven Aurelius. And that was one of my first, like, proper sessions with a producer that was of note. Everyone before then, we was all trying to come up together, you know? So it was like No Name. I was No Name, they was No Name. But this was my first time meeting a producer that had hits. You know, he had produced massive hits for Ashanti, Ja Rule. So like, this was my moment. So I walk into this room and, you know, I think I'm gonna meet Cassie right away, but no. So I walk in the room and all over the room, it says, like somebody's handwriting says, #1 in 54 countries, #1 for 72 weeks, biggest song in the world. Somebody's handwriting, like just plastered all over the wall. So I'm like, what the is this? This is weird as hell. Like, I wonder why they got these on the walls. Anyway, there's also a fog machine going. There's also Prince playing on the TV, Purple Rain. I'm like, what the
And Prince was your guy.
What did I walk into? Like, I don't understand what this is. But I'm like, damn, I guess this is showbiz. We're here, baby. So the guy walks in, his name is Seven Aurelius. And he says, I hear you're a songwriter. I'm like, yeah, nice to meet you, man. I'm Jason. And he was like, you got 5 minutes. Show me what you got. And then I was like, all right, cool. He was like, no, not in here. You go in that room over there. So I couldn't even sit in the studio. I had to like go to another room. And then like I quickly wrote a song that I thought would be cool for Cassie. And 5 minutes was up. He was like, yo. So I walked back in and he's like, all right, what you got? So I started singing this song. It was called My House. He was like, I like this. All right, go in the booth. And then from there, he just started to put me in different sessions. And then like I quickly grew in wherever his world was, you know, when that was like all the making the band stuff, and that was the beginning.
Grandma, do make adjustment real quick. Jason, flip it to these shirts.
Okay. Wanna help if I stood up?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, there you go.
Doing okay so far?
Yeah, great, man. I can't believe you. Bro, I literally almost shed. I think I shed a little bit. I couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't stop myself from getting emotional. It was
I didn't know if you were screwing.
No, I wasn't. I was like, what the is happening to me? I'm not a crier at all. Like that's not my.
Do you agree?
Harry?
Not a crier? All right.
Yeah. What? That was crazy. Do you think it's like what do you? I don't even understand. I've never even told that story like that. That it just never came up, you know, in my mind. I didn't even think about that until you asked me about it. So it's that you're mustering up with people. Like it's actually unbelievable, man. You're amazing.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think what's fun about having the opportunity to do the show is you just have the chance to kind of sit across from uber successful people and talk to them about how they got to where they are, highs and lows and lessons learned, and you know, you always kind of come away from.
Nah, you're being modest, man.
Come away
you're
from
great.
these conversations just kind of feeling, you know, motivated.
That's good.
But so you know, you were ghostwriting during this period, while dreaming of becoming rightfully an artist. In what ways were folks, though, kind of dismissive of you back then?
I mean, they wouldn't say to my face, really. But like, nobody really wants to work with a nobody. I didn't necessarily have any emotion going on. But I don't know. Like, I don't know why they didn't give me a shot. It's not every day that, you know, a dark-skinned kid from Miami makes it as a singer. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I was rapping, you know? It's not like I was doing hip-hop. I was a singer. And even if I was doing R&B, I mean, there's not that many, like, dark-skinned people that make it in general, you know? So I just feel like when you're dark-skinned, you kind of get looked over a lot.
Why?
That's a great question. I don't understand it either, but I feel like it's harder, especially when you make a specific kind of music.
Which was what for you?
At that time, it could have been R&B, because I mean, at that time I was more focused on doing the R&B, on the R&B. So, I mean, but if you look at the biggest singers that ever were, I mean, it's not very many dark-skinned guys that were the biggest in the world, you know? It's just not the same, you don't just get the same opportunities.
What do you think Sean Kingston and his label were thinking when they turned down What You Say in Replay, and then
like
the
later
songs become massive hits?
I'm sure somebody got fired. I'm sure somebody got, I mean, that might be some of the biggest screw-ups in the history of music. Those are 2 #1 hits back to back. I don't think Replay was massive because of Ayez, and I don't think What You Say was massive because of me. I genuinely think both of those songs are amazing songs. I have other songs that I don't think that other people can sing, but What You Say could have easily been a smash hit for Sean Kingston.
Do you remember how you found out they weren't interested?
I was used to people not being interested in the shit that I wrote.
Meaning
So
because
it's like
rejection
every
is
day.
just a part of it, and you have to have
Rejection
thick
is
skin.
every day.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even have to tell me. Like, just don't tell me that it got placed. So, like, and I'll just go about my day. You know, and just tell me about when something good happens. It's better off that way. So that's kind of how it was. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna make this your first single," and I was like, "Hell yeah, that's amazing. This is incredible. I think this song is amazing. So let's go for it." And also, I trusted JR. You know, he's somebody who had hit after hit after hit. So I was like, whatever Bruh says is probably lit.
And he was your guy.
He was my guy. You know, he produced the whole first album, and he was really still one of the first super successful people that I had worked with, you know? Because before then, I was working with Seven, and I hadn't worked with very many established producers, you know? So he still was the biggest producer that I had ever worked with at that time.
And when What You Say takes off, you're thinking what at the time?
So many things. I was thinking that I was grateful, yes, but less of being excited and more about being nervous about not being a one-hit wonder. Like, instead of like enjoying the number one hit, I was just in the studio like, I need another one, you know? So like I just really just put my head down and was just in the trenches. I was just like making song after song after song after song.
And what's your reflection on that now, looking back?
There was no other way.
So you don't think you should have stopped and smelled the roses more?
No, I think that's a trap.
Why?
Because complacency is so easy. It's so easy to be comfortable with success. And that's a really, really big trap. I think 99% of musicians get stuck with is being complacent and happy with where they are. And that complacency is what gets them the boot out of the industry. You're only as good as your last offering. And people are always waiting on the next song, you know? Especially in the pop world, you know? So for me, if I didn't keep my head down, like I wouldn't have had that second number one song. I wouldn't have had Riding Solo, like the. What was that? I can't hear you, buddy. He said, I want fruit in a bowl, please. You mind if we pause for a second?
We can take a break.
Sorry, bro.
Well, that's if he wants fruit in a bowl, that's a good thing. How old is he?
4.
Okay. Well, it's a whole lot better than Fruit Loops.
No, definitely. We don't do Fruit Loops. We do some bad things, but we try to stay away from that. They're crazy.
Yeah, does he participate in the Millie Meal?
No, I stopped doing those. But I'm gonna start back just because you brought it back today. So
There we go.
I'm
We're
gonna start
excited.
it for sure.
We came with some ideas.
My brother's mad as hell that I stopped doing those.
I mean,
He's like,
yeah, I'm sure you didn't want diabetes. Person who turned us on to the David bars, we started kind of profiling people from all walks of life. So we have like James Cameron coming up. We're going to New Zealand for an episode of The
James
Lair
Cameron.
leading up to Avatar 3. The director, Avatar's,
amazing.
Titanic.
wow.
He's like the most successful director, I think.
Even more than Spielberg?
I think even more than Spielberg, right?
from
Yeah.
box
Yeah.
office, huh?
He did
Because those two.
Terminator 2, Titanic, Avatar movies.
He did Terminator as well.
Terminator 2, yeah, the best actor.
Then in addition to that, we did the one of the top OnlyFans stars a few weeks ago, and they were
Sophie?
big into David bars. No, it's I guess most liked and most followed OnlyFans creator, somebody by the name of Bryce Adams. So she's a 60-acre place in Florida. Like they've kind of built this compound where they film stuff and live, and calorie count, big time.
Let me look at her. This is for my. I got my phone. I wanted to just see what she looks like.
Are you watching one
I wanted to see what Bryce Adams looked like. She gets the most liked on
She, her and her boyfriend just broke up. They were high school sweethearts. So
She was on time for the
could-
interview.
Yes. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. That means,
Number 40.
yeah, she's she could be my other half, huh?
she'll gross between like 13 and 16 this year off
That's
of it, and
fantastic.
then net like 4 less than that. So I mean, it's like impressive business for
Unbelievable.
yeah. You good?
Yeah, just wait for you guys to get reset so I can just
Okay.
double.
OnlyFans done changed the game, man, for men, for men too.
You have an OnlyFans?
I don't, but like it changed the game in a different way.
You
Because men used to be able to go to the club and pop bottles and then like, that's all you had to do. But now women are popping their own bottles. Like what are you gonna do for her? She's popping her own bottles. They're sitting at the table by themselves. A group of baddies just popping bottles. They're going to dinners, they're going on vacations by themselves. This used to be the things that men would do for them, but they don't need them anymore.
So
it changed the game.
So how's that changed the dating game?
You gotta be a nice guy. I actually don't know. You gotta bring something else to the table. It can't just be the money, because now, I mean, look what's happening. I mean, they're making millions and millions of dollars.
So you subscribe to anybody's OnlyFans?
No. That's never really been my vibe, honestly. I like the real thing. So.
On that note, all right. So I wanted, if I could, run through a handful of folks you've worked with, and
Yep.
either the fondest memory with them, or like what stands out the most. The first one being Stevie Wonder.
Oh, unbelievable, man. Crazy experience. Walking into Stevie's studio was crazy for me because Stevie was one of the first box sets that I ever bought. And I remember studying his music back to front, from when he was a child prodigy to the legendary Stevie that we know now. So to be not only just in his presence, but to be working with him in his space was crazy, because he was somebody that I grew up listening to, but also the way that he worked was insane. Like, he knew where everything was, by the way. He didn't need any help walking around anywhere. I'm like, wait a minute, is he actually blind? Because he knows where everything is. He was like, where's my harmonica? Oh, there it is. Like that, you know? But unbelievable experience, man. Definitely a moment that I'd never forget.
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez, really, really sweet, man. Had an amazing time working with her. She doesn't drink. So every time I'm picking up a drink, you know, as I'm getting older, I always think about, what would J-Lo do? Because look how amazing she looks and look how old she is, you know? So that do be in the back of my mind. I'd be like, damn, J-Lo probably wouldn't drink this. I'm gonna drink this though, but maybe I won't have another.
Will Smith.
Will Smith, another
Funny videos you guys
legend.
created.
Yeah, man. Another legend that I grew up watching, that, you know, getting a chance to work alongside him, incredible, man. Just a really inspiring guy all the time. Like, sometimes, like, you just want to pick out your phone and then just record him when he's just having normal conversation, because he just spits out like jewels, just, you know, on a regular basis.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, incredible talent, super gracious to me as a young artist that I was. And
Is there one memory from opening for her at that young age that stands out most?
The fear that I had for performing for her, for our audience. Her audience at that time, I mean, it's grown since then, but at that time, when it was The Monsters and it was Bad Romance came out, it was like at the height of Lady Gaga, you know what I'm saying? The audiences were very specific, and there was an artist that was on tour with her before me, and they booed that person every single night until he said, I can't take this no more.
And you already have performance anxiety.
Yeah, so it was just like, first of all, I got to do 30 minutes. I had never done 30 minutes performance in my life at that point. But yeah, Kid Cudi was just getting booed every single night on the tour. Apparently, it's what I heard. I didn't see it myself. But he got off the tour, and it was like, Jason, you want to do it? Hell yeah, I want to do it. But damn, is this gonna happen to me? So that was a really, really scary moment, but it ended up being really, really incredible, and her audience was amazing. And I feel like it was a great springboard in a lot of ways, but also taught me how to treat my openers, because she was just so great with it. She allowed me to be a real part of her show. She always thanked me every single night on stage to her audience. And it just taught me the decor that you should have when you have somebody supporting your tour.
What about the Taylor Swift meet and greet?
Man, Taylor is a monster. She's unbelievable. She inspired me in such a different kind of way, because you can see people perform, you can see people sing well, you can, like, those things are easy to be inspired by, right? But I've never been inspired by how somebody treats their fans. Like, she is just a different human being. The way she does her meet and greet was so different. She would literally go from table to table to table and speak to every table as if that was her table. And I was like, damn, like, they're really getting like real personal time with her. And this was before her show. I was like, then she gonna go and do a 3-hour show after this? This is crazy. But it really inspired me to take my meet and greet serious, and to know that this is one time that people get to meet you. That one moment that you get with them is the moment that they'll have of you for the rest of their lives. So it's really important.
You mentioned Diddy earlier. You started working with him, when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
What did those interactions entail?
Nobody treated Diddy like he was a human being. Like,
How so?
everybody would all be in a room, talking and making music. Everything was fine. When he walked in the room, everybody just like turned into mute. The zombies. Everybody was just like afraid at the time. So this was the Making the Band times. I don't know if you've seen that show, but
Sure. It was like MTV back in the day.
Exactly.
I mean, that was
Yes.
when MTV was at its height.
Yeah, but when he would walk in the room, it was just like a whole different vibe. It was like, did he just walk in, and that's pretty much my experience with him. So like, I didn't really have very much one-on-one experience with Diddy at all.
I was going to say, what do you think of all the recent stuff?
I mean, I have no perspective. I don't know. I've never seen nothing crazy myself.
January of 2012, you fracture your C2 vertebrae. What are you thinking at the time?
I didn't know whether I was gonna be able to walk again. At that moment, when it happened, I just didn't know how bad I messed myself up. I know I messed myself up because I never felt anything quite like that.
What happened?
So I was preparing for my tour at that time, and I wanted to do these back tucks back to back to back. So we were conditioning, but we were conditioning on concrete as opposed to on mats. And I slipped during a back tuck, and I bailed. and you're never supposed to bail during the back tuck. If you like slip, you're still supposed to like try to make it over as best as you can. But if you stop in the middle, then you come straight down. And that's what happened to me. And yeah, I literally didn't know how bad it was in that moment. I heard a crack, but I didn't necessarily feel the pain. And I feel like my body went into some sort of like shock or something, because even like when I get a paper cut, the hurts, right? So like, why in that moment it's not the worst pain that I ever felt, you know? I think it's remarkable how the human body can like strip certain things from you. Like it probably was too unbearable at that moment that the body was just like, oh, shock. So you don't really feel it. So it was really just like, oh shit, like fear, like what did I do? Because I heard the crack. So it was a crazy, crazy situation where now I have to get up and then tell my mom that I messed myself up, and, you know, and she was outside waiting for me in the car. But I didn't want to tell her how bad I messed myself up, but I was like, Mom, we should probably just go to the hospital just to check it out, you know, just to be safe. I hurt my neck a little bit, but every single bump, every single turn felt like the worst pain imaginable. It was the toughest pain that I've ever felt in my life, like by far. And then, yeah, man, and I found that I broke my C2 vertebrae, and it was, I had to cancel my tour, and I was out for 7 months, so I didn't really know what was going to happen to my career.
What did the doctors tell you when you got to the hospital?
He said, you got a hangman's break, and it's the same break that happens when someone breaks their neck, when someone is hung. And he said, you're going to be out for quite a while. And I was like, what's quite a while? Because the tour was about to happen. And he was like, anywhere from 7 months to 10 months. And I was like, what the again, I'm not a crier, but at that moment, yeah, it came down. It was like, damn. Like I had been preparing for this tour. It was my biggest tour yet at that time. And yeah, it was just a heart-wrenching moment, just crazy.
How do you think the experience impacted you?
It impacted me really positively. At that time, instead of feeling sorry for myself, I fell into routine. And I found the routine that helped me forget about everything, right? So I would wake up at the same time every day. I worked out at the same time every day. And by workout, I mean just walk on the treadmill. And then I would make music for a specific time, and every single day I did the exact same thing. And that time is when I wrote my most famous album ever, 6 platinum songs off of 1 album, which I think only 2 other people has ever done.
What was it about that time that you think allowed you to do that?
Routine. Being able to have focused energy is so much better than having a fragmented mind. When you're fragmented, you're thinking about so many other things. You're like, how do I do this? How do I do this? Okay, let me make a song in between. How do I do this? It's so much harder than to just be focused on music, you know? Like I would work out, eat, music. Work out, eat, music, you know? And
how good are you at being able to do that?
It's really tough now.
And would you say the most success you've had at doing that was during that time when the recovery was
Every
going on?
time that I've done that has been monumental. It's not just music though, because during the pandemic, I just focused on social media, and I became the biggest person on social media during the pandemic. And I went from having almost no followers to having 250 million followers.
So I want to ask you about that, but preceding that period, I want to talk about Warner's. Why leave Warner Music Group?
I didn't like them, they didn't like me. It was a terrible situation.
And what does that mean? They didn't like you, you didn't like them?
They weren't liking my material. Like they were trying to make me do urban music. I'm like, what the do you mean? I sold 200 million records doing pop music. Like, why would I start doing urban music. For what reason? I outsold all the urban artists. Why would I do that? And the executives at that time were urban-leaning executives. So that's the music that they were into. And I also think that when you're fresh into a building, you need to make your mark in some way. So like you need to either come in and like alter the that's popping, and then you can say that you're a genius for that, or you need to sign new that pops off so that you can say that you did that. But either way, you need to have done something, like when you first come in there. And it was regime after regime after regime. Different regimes were coming in every year and a half. Like I went through like 6 different regimes in my time. And by the time I was doing my 4th album, you know, I was just exhausted. I was just like, this is crazy. Now I gotta meet new people. They want me to do urban music. I'm not doing that. Y'all don't like my songs, I don't like y'all. So like, let me go.
Was there one conversation that stands out most where both sides were very direct with each other?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's really just like roundabout things, like trying to get like budgets for certain things. You know, it was an argument. I'm doing all the heavy lifting myself. You can tell when somebody's not in it and where their attention is going. And the crazy part about it is I was one of the only super successful artists on that label for a decade. I was the guy worldwide for 10 years. I was the guy. Everybody's salaried in that whole building was kind of dependent on me and all the legacy stuff that they had. Obviously they had legacy stuff that still sold, but like the current person that was keeping the lights on was me. I'm talking about a label that had very, very small market share. We know it as Warner Brothers Records, but Warner Brothers in its heyday was doing, right before me, it was all rock. And then when rock went to I was the only option. You know what I'm saying? It was me and Michael Bublé. That was it, right? And to go from that to have a new regime be like, we're not really feeling this vibe. You should try working with this producer. I'm like, bruh, these guys do urban music. I don't want to do that. That's not really my vibe. So it was just like a cantankerous situation that I needed to get out of. And I was like, by any means necessary, I'm gonna get out of this deal. So like, either you guys let me out or it's gonna be a real problem, like with the world. I'm gonna let the world know that you guys are like keeping me against my will.
What did they say?
They're like, you have to pay this amount to go free. I was like, all right, I'll pay the amount. So I paid the amount, and then I think that the world is gonna be my oyster, and then that everybody's gonna receive me with open arms because I'm Jason Derulo.
Didn't work out that way.
Not even close. So I went to all of these different labels, and they were like, no, it's too expensive for us. That's not really what we're looking for. I'm like, what you mean? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I'm the guy that sold 250 million records. It's me. I was like, okay. So I had to take a deep breath and like really figure it out. I think in most cases, the easy thing to do is to feel sorry for yourself. But instead of feeling attacked, I always go into what's the next move mode.
Okay, before we get to that though, I correct me if I'm wrong, there was a point during the dispute with Warner's where you just thought about kind of giving up on the career.
I did.
Take me to that moment and what you're thinking about.
Yeah, because I was like, I did a lot in my career. I mean, there's not very many artists in the history of artists that have done what I've done. I traveled the world. I've seen every country 1,000,000 times, and I've impacted a lot of lives. And I was like, maybe this is the end of my story. Maybe I should focus on living now. I've spent so much time not living, so maybe I should just focus on living.
Depressed?
I wouldn't say depressed necessarily. It was a coming to terms with maybe a different lifestyle, which could be difficult in some ways, but also relieving in some ways. But then I decided against that.
I pulled this quote from Variety that I want to read to you. At the end of 2019, singer Jason Derulo's career was at a low ebb. While the singer had enjoyed a string of multi-platinum and singles and Teen Choice Awards in the early 2010s, he hadn't had a major hit in several years, and an attempt at branching into acting in the epic star-studded flop Cats hadn't really worked out. He was a 30-year-old former pop star who just split from Warner Brothers, the only record company he'd ever called home. Then the pandemic hit. What are you thinking then?
The pandemic hit. I seen my nieces and nephews on this app, and I'm like, damn, they're like really obsessed with this app. Like they're all over this. Like they want to be on it all the time, all day. Every time I see them, they're like on this app, and they're lip syncing, and they're doing dances. I'm like, this is weird. How is this social media? It was called Musical.ly at the time. So I tried it out. I ended up doing a campaign on there for one of my songs. It was called Get Ugly. And Musical.ly said that they would shoot it out to every single person on the app. And I was like, oh, cool. So I gained like a couple of followers. So I had like 4 million followers over like the course of like 2 years, which was kind of crazy because I'm somebody that never had followers really. But I was the only singer on the app. I was the only celebrity on the app. It was called Musical.ly at the time. So I kind of go away from it for a while, but then the pandemic hit, and I was like, I'm gonna try that app again. Now the app is called TikTok. And when I start to dive in, I have so much time. I'm like, I need to set some parameters for myself, because whenever I lock in and I create a routine is when I am able to figure it out really. So I created a routine in a parameters where I was gonna post 6 times every day, and in posting 6 times a day, I was going to figure out how to social media. I didn't know how to social media. My biggest problem was my disconnect to the audience. People didn't know that all the hits were mine. So I have all of these hit songs, 22 platinum songs I have, 22. It's crazy, right? But nobody can connect them to me. So if you hear the song, you know the song for sure, right? You can't escape the songs. But you don't know that it's me on a lot of these songs, right? And if I could figure out social media, maybe I could figure out how to connect the dots for my career. So I decided I was gonna post 6 times a day. 6 times a day is a crazy amount.
Especially when you weren't posting at all before then.
Well, how many ideas can you have? So what it did was it allowed me to start posting things that I didn't want to post because it was non-negotiable. I had to post 6 times no matter what. So now I was posting anything. And that exercise allowed me to let my hair down, so to speak. It was not like so much thought had to go into every post. And it allowed me to be myself. It allowed me to be silly. It allowed me to do other things. Now, at the time, that app was just a dance app and lip syncing. But this exercise that I was doing, it allowed me to do whatever I wanted on the app. I had to, otherwise I wouldn't get my 6 posts. But it caught TikTok's attention because they wanted the app to be a totally different app. So they were like, this is perfect for us. Like, can you continue doing this? You know, we'll pay you a stipend for being a pioneer because we love what you're doing. So I continued to do it, and the app started to grow, and then people started to post different kinds of things. You know, it was not just a dance app. But for the longest time, people were looking at me like, why is this guy on this kids app? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, what is he doing? But in the back of my mind, I knew that these kids that were 15 years old, 16 years old, in 5 years, they was gonna be 20 and 21 years old.
You had a conversation at some point with TikTok's head of music. What was discussed then?
It was really just that
Okay.
how they loved the fact that I was not focused on doing the dances, that I was stepping outside the box, because that's something that they've always wanted to do. That's what TikTok wanted to be. They wanted to be an all-encompassing app. Because the essence of Musical.ly, the essence of TikTok at that time was lip syncing dance app. That's what it was.
And I think at one point you're getting 1 billion views a month.
Yeah.
The impact it had on your career was what?
It allowed people to know me. You know, it allowed people they knew who my dog was. They knew what my house looked like. They knew what my pool looked like. It was a total kind of invite to my life, which in turn allowed people to connect the dots with the music.
And
So it worked. It worked out.
the impact that's had on how the music industry views social media, you think's what?
Savage Love was the first song that utilized social media solely for the promotion of a song on TikTok. TikTok has changed the way that music is consumed. It's changed the way that it's promoted. And let's be honest, that did not exist before Savage Love. Savage Love was the first moment where someone utilized creators to blow a song up.
Was there a moment you were blown away by the metrics you were producing?
The reason why I mean, of course I was blown away, but the reason why I wasn't surprised is because of the motion that I had on the app. I felt like I had my finger on the pulse so well that I knew exactly what to expect for everything. I had so much research. I had so much time to understand the app and understand people, you know? So I knew that in collaborations, there was strength in collaborations. And when I put out a song and I did collaborations, it was going to make people listen to the song whether they liked it or not, you know? It gave visibility to a song. Whereas if we had radio, they would have to turn on the radio to hear a song. But during the pandemic, all we have is TikTok. So I needed eyeballs on my song. So the way that I was gonna get eyeballs is I was going to post my song shamelessly on my TikTok, but I was also gonna do collaborations with a lot of different creators. And then I was gonna ask for favors. Hey, can you post a song? Can you post a song? Boom, boom, boom. And then the swell started instantly. It was like a crazy swell. And that was the first time that TikTok really, really blew a song up based on creators and based on the audience doing some sort of dance.
Business. What are your financial goals?
I definitely want to be a billionaire. I've always wanted to be the example for other kids that look like me from where I'm from, and for them to see what's possible. Also want to be able to really have an impact when it comes to lifting Haiti up. And I think that if I had billions of dollars, I could utilize both the funds and my tentacles to really uplift Haiti in the way that it needs to be uplifted. It's really my dream to have Haiti become the destination that it deserves to be, because it's such a beautiful country and people don't know about it. I'm talking about like creating like the strip of 5-star hotels on the beautiful beaches that people want to go to, you know? And in turn, it's gonna just open up so many jobs and bring so much money into the country. But we have all of the tools. They just need to be activated in the correct way. So that's one of my biggest dreams.
And how do you do that?
In general? I need more money. I don't have the kind of money that I need today. So I'm just starting to do developments, but the kind of hotel that needs to be in Haiti is not the kind of money that I have today. So I need to be in a different place financially to be able to withstand, what it's going to take to build an entire strip in Haiti.
How about best financial decision you ever made?
The best financial decision is debatable. So we can either go with the first purchase of my first studio, which was $8,000 altogether, which my girlfriend at the time paid for the majority of. I've never talked about it, but this was actually strip club money that was utilized to get my first studio.
What does strip club money mean?
She was a dancer, and she would bring home the money, and we would put it in a shoebox underneath the bed. Till this day, whenever I get cash, I call it shoebox money from that time. But yeah, that was a really, really great decision with that $8,000. And the most money today, the biggest exit that I see happening right now is Rocket Car Wash.
What happened there?
So Rocket Car Wash is, it was a company that had started previous to me, and I came in later and put a ton of money into it. And the reason why I liked it is because it was also a real estate play, So like, I didn't feel like there was that much of risk, because at the end of the day, I would own the real estate and I would be able to fall back on that, if anything. But I didn't know that it would blow up the way that it did, and continues to grow every single day. When interest rates change, Rocket Car Wash is going to be one of the biggest monsters that I could ever imagine.
What about worst financial decision you ever made?
My first house. So I bought a house in Coconut Creek. It was my first purchase of a house.
And at one point you owned like 4 houses, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I thought it was a beautiful home, but I wanted to fix it up and like make it my own. So it was a very expensive house for the area, which is already not good. Then I inputted.
Wait, but this has to be the most expensive house in the area.
But
too.
Definitely.
Okay.
But by far. But you can break it down into different houses. So this is one, that's one, that's one. When you put it together, it's crazy. But I can sell that house by itself. I can sell that house by itself, and I can sell this by itself.
Got it. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This would still be the most expensive house probably in the area too. But yes, that was my worst financial decision. I input way too much money into it, and when it was time to sell it, I couldn't sell it for what I put into it. So like I lost millions of dollars. The difference between that and this is a lifetime project, and that wasn't. That was my first home. That was a stepping stone. If you look to your left, if you look to your right, if you look to the front, there's construction happening. This is Los Angeles. This is not Coconut Creek. Mm-hmm. So there's only so many places you can build in Los Angeles, and I'm betting on Tarzana, and it's proving I'm being proven to be correct, because the way Encino exploded. Encino exploded, and Tarzana is now doing the same exact, gentrification.
What about women's volleyball?
Man, so I thought I was almost doing doing something nice, because after college, when women, were looking for what to do next, they had to go overseas to play volleyball. So I was like, man, that's up. Like, we should have something here, So we teamed up with some guys, and together we created a volleyball league. And it just exploded, man. Like, especially in Omaha. Omaha has the record when it comes to professional volleyball, women's professional volleyball. Like 16,000 people nights, 17,000 audiences. It's unheard of. 17,000 people is a crazy thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, for anybody. Like, as a performer, like, that my shows can be 17, 20,000 people. I'm not like, bragging or anything, but like comparatively, it's crazy. Like, that's a really, really large number when it comes to any sport. That's what the NBA is doing. So you're telling me like a women's volleyball league can do the same thing? It's unbelievable. So I am so glad to be a small part of what these athletes are doing. They are incredible talents, and every time I see a match, I'm blown away more than the last time I was there.
Your album. Why say this is the last album?
There's a lot of things that I want to do, and I feel like I'm the best version of myself as a performer, as a songwriter today, and I don't want to leave not being the best version of me. I just put my tour out for sale. It's my highest grossing tour that I've ever done. So yeah, I think this is a perfect way to end it off. It's not like going down on a low. I want to be the best version of me when I'm going out.
Now, your brother told me he thinks this is going to be like a Floyd Mayweather thing, where he retires, then comes back.
I don't think that, man. I have so many other things that I want to do, that so many other things that are in development that are working in amazing ways. I'm not a one-trick pony, and I have so much up my sleeve that people aren't aware of as of yet. So,
like
what I'm doing in business, I think is incredible. Even though I haven't had a taste of any of that yet, I haven't pulled anything yet, I haven't sold anything yet. But like, when those things happen, like, I'm gonna be a totally different human being, almost, like.
What do you mean?
I'll just have a way different level of power, freedom, because there's nothing that I can't do at that point. When I talked about Haiti earlier, right? Like, my hands are tied. Like, there's not very much that I can do today. But tomorrow, like, if I have the power to purchase 5-star hotels, plural, I'm a different monster. I'm a totally different person. That's when I start doing business with governments, and it's a totally different play.
And you see yourself, though, still creating music, just not releasing it?
Yeah, I don't think I can ever stop creating music, because I'm obsessed. I love it. It's so much fun for me. But yeah, just not releasing it. I'll probably just give it to other artists and stuff like that.
The plan for the tour would be what?
In terms of?
Just kind of your vision for it.
Oh man, I'm just, pulling out all the stops. State-of-the-art stage design. It's gonna be unlike anything people have ever seen. I'm really excited. We're going into rehearsals starting about 45 days from now, and it's gonna be pretty crazy. It's gonna be pretty crazy.
You're excited?
I'm actually gonna start posting what we did for my last tour, because everybody didn't get the chance to see that last tour, but it was really unbelievable.
I want to talk to you about working with family. Pros and cons of doing that.
Pros, being able to spend time with the family, you know, and be close to the people that you're closest to. Winning together. Being rich by yourself is not great, but uplifting the people that are around you, I think, is the best feeling. My favorite moments aren't me buying anything. My favorite moments have never been like, oh, that watch that I bought. Remember when I bought that watch? Remember when I bought that car? Those are never my favorite moments. My favorite moments are either in the trenches in work or watching somebody else break a barrier and become more successful because of something that I helped with, you know? So it's really my motto. I have a motto of service, you know, and the people around me, I want to build them up to be the best versions of themselves. And the fact that those people happen to be my family members, it makes it that much more amazing.
But you have said before, more money, more problems.
Definitely.
Family relationships have broken and friendships have been lost. Elaborate on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the hard part about it is like when it doesn't work out. It's always amazing when it works out, but like if you hire family members and it doesn't work out, like relationships are lost. Then that's it's just stupid, right? Like if we never worked together in the first place, we would still have a relationship, you know? So that's the really tough part, because you're trying to bring people in and try to do what's best for them and like I said, uplift them. But like you can only bring somebody so far, right? And if they decide not to do the work or can't do the job, you know, at the highest level, it's not really worth it, you know?
What about your longtime manager? He'd been with you since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Explain how it kind of ended over TikTok.
Not exactly. It didn't end because of TikTok, but I reached to a point where I felt like I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting myself. And there was one day that really hit me hard, where I was just like stressed out. I hadn't seen my son in weeks. And I called him and I was like, yo, and I just wanted to like talk at that second. I just didn't necessarily need anything. And he was like, oh, I'm at my son's game. I'll call you back later. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But that moment hit me so crazy, because here I was in the trenches and I was working and he was at his son's game. I wanted to be with my son too. So I'm doing 100% of the work. You're not doing 20% of the work and you're getting 20% of the profit from what I'm doing today, what I did yesterday, the day before. You're not here. Up to that point, he had been a great mentor to me, the person that taught me the majority of what I know about the business, but also about being a man. You know, he was a very, very integral part of my upbringing as a man in general, not just as an artist. But at that point, it didn't seem fair to me. So I went to him with a proposition, you know, to just change the format of what it was, because it didn't feel fair the way it was.
How did you address that with him, and what did he say?
I just plain out told him it. Like, it took me like weeks to figure out what words I was gonna actually say, you know? Because he would be the person that I would talk to about finding the words to say to somebody, like in this manner, right? But I didn't have him to talk about it to. So I finally, you know, mustered up the energy to be like, yo, like, I'm not really feeling how the current structure is. But I want to figure out a system where I feel better. So if you bring something in, I'll give you more. But if you're not bringing things in, I have to give you less. And he didn't want to take that deal. So I knew at that moment that this relationship was not going to work, because either he didn't feel like he could bring things in, which was crazy, or he was just not willing to do the work. So I was just like, I think like we've reached a point, you know, it's just a crossroads that you know, you don't want to take this deal and I'm not comfortable with the current situation. So that's when we had to part ways.
How did he handle that?
I wish he handled it differently, because it felt like it was like the end of all, right? Like I tried to see if the relationship would like still, you know, continue afterwards, because I mean, you know, like the guy like helped raise me. I was a child, you know, when we met. You know, I was 12 years old. I was a kid, you know. He'd been my manager since I was 12 years old. So I wanted to see like if he would still be around, if he would like still hit me up, and it was nothing. It was crickets. And I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with that. I understand. Sometimes this is what I was talking about, was like, because at that point, like, he was family to me, right? So this wouldn't have been the first family member that I don't talk to anymore. But yeah, it's just the nature of the game.
It's not to say you guys couldn't ever reconnect. And
For sure. You know, and maybe it's my fault. Maybe like I should be the bigger person, and
what would be involved with you being the bigger person?
like me just hitting him up. Yeah, I guess I could.
If you thought about that?
I think about it from time to time.
You said before your relationships suffer because of your work. How so?
Yeah, because there's a lot of women that feel like they want to be with somebody like me until they actually are with somebody like me. You know what I'm saying? Because you think that you, like all of the amazing things that come with it, like my lifestyle, where I live, how I fly, where I go, who I am, what I've done, like all that stuff seems top tier. And it is, of course. But it also comes with sacrifice. This stuff is not here because I've slept 8 hours every night, you know, for the last 16 years, you know. This stuff is here because I have worked my ass off in a different kind of way. And this kind of success does not come easy to somebody like me. Of course, there's anomalies where, you know, there's some crypto bros that that are super rich and living the life, you know, from not doing that much. They just, you know, were at the right place, right time, right idea.
Exception, though, as
Yeah.
opposed to the norm. Yeah.
But that's not normal. That's not the, you know. So being with somebody like me, I'm up late at night. I'm in the studio. I'm having meetings. I'm doing every single thing myself. I'm choreographing. I'm shooting videos. I'm directing videos. I'm doing social media posts. I'm doing brand posts. I'm building brands. I'm building companies. I'm building buildings. I'm doing a million things at once. And that just comes with a price. The price is time. And I also have a son, you know, so that's just more time that's taken away. So it seems like the greatest life until you have to sacrifice the time with me, You know what I'm saying?
You said still today, at least 9 out of 10 times, you'll choose work first. Why still today?
Work is a faithful bitch. You can't use it. My work is not gonna break up with me, you know. And my work is gonna be there no matter what. I've spent my entire life building this thing. You know, it's my firstborn, so to speak. You know.
But you said you don't focus on family enough.
Yeah, family is different. I mean, I thought you were talking about like a woman.
Either or, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I choose my son. I can choose my son more than I do, for sure. But I generally choose my son before most things, and it's really about scheduling it correctly. You know, I just try to schedule things where it makes sense for him and my life at the same time. And a lot of things we can do together, which is great. But I think what I meant was holistically, it's not just my son, right? I have a mother who cares about me. I have a father who cares about me. I have a sister. I have a brother. My brother travels with me, so not him. But I have cousins. I have aunts. I have uncles. Like, these people are the people that have always been in my corner since I was a kid, but I don't get to see them very often. That's what really, really suffers.
How did you find out you were having a child, and what was your initial reaction?
Man, pandemic was crazy. I fell in love really quickly. Everything happened really fast because we were all in one home, right? It was it kind of sped everything up. Whereas, like, you go through a dating period, like, you decide, like, you're gonna move in, like, after you've been with somebody for years. No, it was the pandemic. Like, she was the person that I was seeing. And were we gonna pandemic separately, or like, we might as well just coexist? All right, cool, yeah. It just made everything go super, super fast. It was a great situation. We shot a lot of content together, and then we had conversations about having kids. I'm not the youngest guy, you know what I'm saying? So,
how old are you?
like, 37.
Okay.
So, you know, it's just like, I was like, oh, yeah, I want to have a kid, and she, you know, she felt the same way. So it was like a slight conversation, you know, that we would have, and then, then one thing kind of led to another, man. It's like sped things into like full gear, the pandemic, you know. But it was an amazing time. I look back at that time like it was just like a magical time, because for one, I never spent that much time at home since I was a kid. But she got to meet the person at home. The version of me that was at home was not the version of me that was my norm. The normal version of me is on the road all the time. The normal version of me is working all the time. And she didn't know that side yet. We met right before the pandemic.
And so what happened when she got exposure to that side?
It's hard to understand. It's hard to comprehend the amount of work that goes into doing what I do. It almost seems like I'm lying, because it's not comprehensible to the average person about somebody working 20 hours in a day. It just doesn't make any sense. But to me, that's the life that I've always lived, you know? And I tried to explain to her, like, the version that you knew, that's not how my life has been. That's not what got me here. That's not what bought this house. But yes, it's hard. It's hard for someone to let that soak.
You think there's any chance you guys get back together?
I mean, the crazy things have happened, you know. So I would never say never to anything. But I don't think that it's likely.
You and your childhood sweetheart, who I think you dated all throughout high school, you thought you were gonna marry her, right? Back in the day?
Man, I thought I was gonna marry a lot of girls.
Really?
Yeah, I thought there's never in a million years did I think I was gonna be 37 single.
And you think that's why? Because of work?
No, I've seen too much too.
Okay.
I've seen too much in my life.
Okay, and that means what?
I'm tainted. You know, like I mean, you can imagine the things that I've seen. Married women leaving their boyfriends on the spot, like leaving their boyfriend in the club. Like I mean, everything under the sun that you can imagine. I'm giving you the super G version.
Why do we want the G version?
Because I don't want this to be the headline.
How do you view monogamy?
Today, I don't think it's for me today. And there was a point where I thought that it was. But I just think it's important to just be honest, right? Like, I don't think there's any issues as long as the people that you're dealing with understand where your mind is at and what you want, right? I think there's a problem when there's lies and there's false hopes. But today I'm really not looking for a monogamous relationship.
Now, has that been the source of challenges in past relationships you've been in?
Let's just say there's been a lot of embellishments to the stories that have been told about me. But it's not really fair for men, because you can't really come out and be like, no, this didn't happen. Like, I mean, it's just like it seems it seems distasteful, you know, to combat stories that have been told about me. Like, it seems like there's no winning, you know, because I could go and like talk about things and like debunk them or like just like tell my side.
Although you played into the story sometimes too. I have in my note cards.
Please,
how does a five-way work? I mean, so you put some of this stuff out there. You know?
but that's not like, that's just so obvious that's my life. But not in a relationship, you know, is my point. Like, unless somebody already knows about that's, you know, what I'm doing. That's what I'm speaking of. Like, in a relationship, you know, unless that person knows, that's not really happening. But of course, you know, I've had more than that.
How would you view marriage working?
For me? That person would have to bring value to my life in terms of some sort of peace.
But also be at peace with not being in a monogamous relationship?
Today, that's how I feel. Because I don't want to be in a relationship today. But I think there's a chance, of course, that I could get married and be monogamous, of course. But that person would have to bring so much value to my life, you know, and vice versa. That person needs to be my other half. That person needs to be like the person that completes me, that makes me better, the person that picks me up when I'm down, the person that I can talk to, a best friend as well as a partner, you know, because my life needs to be better with that person. You know what I'm saying? I've had situations where I felt like it could be that, and then and then it wasn't, you know? So maybe I just didn't find my person yet.
There was a lawsuit not too long ago by an artist that was like hired to your label that was dismissed.
Twice.
What did you learn going through that?
Never work with women.
Oh, come on.
There's truth in every joke. But it's a sad truth. Like, I will never be alone in a room with a woman that I work with, like ever again.
Why?
It's too risky. That case was dismissed twice in 2 different states. And there's hardly no mention of it online. When that case was brought up, it was on every single blog, every single front page. And I lost so many brand deals, relationships off of a story that was not even slightly believable. She said I sacrificed a goat in a sexual ritual. All people read was the headline, right? And that's all it takes to lose everything. That's a crazy concept. I lost millions of dollars off of an arbitrary story that some woman told. Like a crazy, crazy story that some woman told. So, with that being said, how can I be comfortable being in a room with a woman that I work with and not feel like she can just say whatever she wants? It's like, it's not worth it to me. So anytime that there's a woman present that I work with, there will be somebody else present. I need some sort of like witness or cameras or some shit.
When you're in that and losing millions of dollars in brand deals, how are you figuring out how to navigate that?
Man, it's really less about the money. Like, the money, man. Like, I have one name that I work so hard to stay clean and stay clean cut. And then like somebody can just say, like, you can just say anything. That's the world we live in. You can just say anything and people take it as gospel. Why was it that those same blogs, those same pages, why didn't they post a dismissal at least? Wouldn't that be fair? If you posted
Well, because
the
that's
headline,
not going to get the clicks.
that's so bro. It's so terrible. So like, people don't talk about the hardships of men, but it's a really, really tough place to be in, especially like when you have something to lose. Like, it's a really, really tough place to be in. We talked about my past relationships and them saying things about me that I haven't responded to. We talked about lawsuits that I haven't really been able to respond to. I really want to respond to the blogs, if you want to be honest. I want to tell them, like, what the is wrong with y'all? Like, after all of these years, like, that I've done, it's been places that I've done interviews with, and like, I've just been so kind and like generous with my time. And then they post that then you don't post the dismissal. It got dismissed twice. You ain't post the second one, you didn't post the first one. Damn. Like, none of that is crazy. It's crazy.
I want to talk about diet and exercise a little bit. You alluded to this a little bit ago, but the intermittent fasting, what's the deal there?
So most days I try to do intermittent fasting, and it's basically trying to prepare for my Fridays. So I fast on Fridays, not intermittent fast. I actually fast for 24 hours every single Friday of my life.
And why?
It's a sacrifice for God. So as a kid, we grew up and we would abstain from meat on Fridays. I was really called to up it up a notch. Like, I was feeling like God wanted me to do more, not just for myself, but for the people around me and for anyone that I could tell. fasting has changed my life in so many different ways. When I talk about the mental clarity, the focus, the amount that I'm able to get done without putting so much focus on food is incredible. Because we live our life around food is crazy. Like the amount of emphasis that we place on food is crazy. And it consumes our day. We're thinking about what we're having for breakfast. We go have breakfast, and then we're thinking about what we're gonna have for lunch. Then we go have lunch. We might do a social thing at lunch, and it's like a whole thing. Dinner is the same thing. It's like a whole social moment. If you take all of those meals out on a Friday, how much time opens up is crazy. But also it allowed me to place less of emphasis on food throughout my week.
And what's this thing I heard about you eating the same thing constantly for very long periods of time?
I think I'm just like that. I have like a obsessive personality.
And like, what could it be?
I'm just like a really simple guy. So like if I go to a restaurant and I like something, I'm gonna order that same every single time, even though I never ordered anything else. I just order the same. I don't know. That's kind of weird, right? I think it's weird too.
What do you eat in a typical day?
I'm on my longevity kick right now, and I'm really excited about my farm. So being at home, like it's been incredible because I'm just eating from the farm and like eating outside protein. So like yesterday, for instance, I brought out the brown cutting board that you've seen on TikTok, and then I cut, either myself or somebody else will cut the tomatoes fresh from the garden and cucumbers and squash, and then put salt, olive oil, jalapeno, good to go. So I have that. I had that 2 times yesterday, and then I had a salad yesterday.
When talking about Kobe, so first you alluded to the fact that there was a period of time in your life where you thought you might give this basketball thing a shot. You won a championship in high school.
Yeah.
And you were debating for, I think, a couple of years, giving it your full attention, but ultimately decided otherwise. Why?
Right. A couple reasons. Basketball came harder to me than music did. Even though I was able to build myself up to the point that I was at, I didn't always excel at it. I started music when I was 4, so I was always ahead of everybody. In basketball, I was behind, and then I caught up. So it came harder. But I went to a very big basketball school in America, very, very big basketball school. And it ranks in the top 20 every year. And we won a championship together, and I was the point guard, and I've always loved basketball. I still love basketball, you know? But I had to make a decision. I decided to go with the road that I felt like was an easier road, because it came easier to me. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that if I chose basketball, I would have been at least as successful as a basketball player that I was as a musician.
Really?
Yeah.
But I thought your like highest scoring point total in high school was like 14 points or something like that.
Yeah, but that didn't matter because it's not about what that. I was still so young, by the way, playing varsity, by the way, at the top 20 school in America. With anything, it's about the time and energy that you put into it. Like I told you earlier, I have an obsessive personality. So anything that I do, I'm gonna be the best at. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like it literally doesn't matter what it is. Because I'm just gonna put more time than everybody else. So like, for instance, like when everybody else would go to basketball practice, they would go to basketball practice, they would go home, okay? I slept with my basketball. I woke up, I had a basketball in my hand. I walked to the school bus with a basketball in my hand. I walked to my classes with my basketball in my hand. I went to basketball practice. After basketball practice, I came home and I practiced. So way more hours than every other basketball player that was on my team, right? So like I went from not making the team to being the best person on the team, right? But then you continue to compound those hours, like I would have just been a totally different player by the time it was my senior year. With my obsessive personality, there's just no way that I wasn't going to be successful unless, you know, something that was force majeure, you know, if like some injury or something like that. But if it was in my control, you can't beat somebody that's working way harder than you. You just can't.
For somebody who had a ton of interest in basketball, the experience in China with Kobe had to be quite a lot of fun for you.
Definitely. That's the drunkest I've ever been.
And how does that happen?
So we went out for dinner with some of his guys, and competitive. He's really competitive, as am I. But my body is a little smaller than his. I was. Yeah, so he would have a drink and then he would like tap my glass on the table like really aggressively, like borderline breaking my glass. I'm like, what the f-? So I take my shot, right? And then he goes for the next one, taps my glass aggressively. I'm like, what the f-? Okay, I see what we're doing here. This is a competition. So now I'm locked in. This is Kobe. I'm a musician, bro. Like, it's in the job title to drink. You're a basketball player, okay? Like, you live the healthy lifestyle. You got to be in bed at a certain time. Like, there's no way you about to beat me in drinking.
What are you guys drinking?
I think it was bourbon. One ice cube and bourbon. And the waitress knew to keep topping it up. Anyway, he keeps tapping my glass. So like now I know we're in competition. Like we're full on, right? Everybody's around, we're laughing, having a good time. But in the midst, there's a full on competition. I want to show him what being a rock star is. Like, and I'm telling him this, I'm like, you can't drink with me. Like, I do this for a living. You know what I'm saying?
Meanwhile, we just talked about your longevity diet.
I've learned a lot since then. I was a young man. So after drinking, like, I'm talking about something in the 20s. I don't know, it was something crazy. More than I've ever drank in my life.
In the 20s in terms of drinks?
Yes. Bro, I was delirious. He was fine. He was good. I stopped remembering every conversation that he was having. He was having conversations with my manager. I don't remember it at all. All I remember is being in the car. I had a couple of my dancers with me. And it was like two or three girls. And we stopped like every 4 minutes for me to throw up on the side of the road. I couldn't even make it home without throwing up every 4 minutes. That's the drunkest I've ever been in my life. But yeah, he won. But by far. Now he was not even close. Landslide.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, brother. Fantastic, man.
Pretty painless, right?
Yeah, beautiful, brother.
Yeah. Anything I did not ask that you would have liked me to?
Definitely not. You dug in deep. Yeah, you had some incredible shit in there for sure.